Back in the 90s, Fort Worth was the wild, wild east. You hear me? It was going down, the wild, wild west. It was dropping daily. Straight out of high school, straight into the graveyard. You know, it's a funny thing, man, is they had a riot kick off, the white boys did. I was on close custody on Ferguson.
White boys had a riot kick off?
White boys, they had Aryan Brotherhood going against Aryan Circle. They went to war in prison, right? And they was white on white. We was on medium custody at this time. I was on Telford unit. I was on Ferguson unit. And I remember they come in there and they grabbed and there wasn't very many. There's not very many on closed medium custody, right? That was solid. But it was a couple of them. And they come in there and grab these white boys up, and I'm looking out my cell, I'm thinking, they're taking all the white boys out of here. They walk right by me. They walk right by me.
You are now tuned into the Bob Report.
We back again with another Bob Report, and this time, this is kind of special to me for a few reasons. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, it's Red Dawg from Eastwood, Fort Worth, Texas.
Got you, Red Dawg, Red Dawg. Who you got sitting next to you?
My son, Zay.
What up, Zay? Red Dawg, let's before we even go there, how many children you got, Red Dawg?
I got 15 and one on the way.
You got 15 and one on the way.
15 on the ground, one in the womb.
Right. All right, so let's start here, man. So you from Eastwood, Fort Worth, Texas.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Growing up in Fort Worth during the 90s, how was it in Fort Worth back then?
Back in the 90s, Fort Worth was the wild, wild east. You hear me? It was going down, the wild, wild west. It was dropping daily. Straight out of high school, straight into the graveyard.
You what's your affiliation, Red Dawg?
Eastwood, Peru.
And what's your nationality?
Caucasian.
A white male.
Right on.
And a Peru in Fort Worth, Texas in the 90s.
And the living flesh.
How is that even possible?
To be honest with you, it's possible because I was as real as it could be with my race. Coming out of the hood, I was real. I've always been real. I've never been on no funny, phony, and fake shit, and solid as a stone.
Were you in Eastwood, in Fort Worth back then, or now, it's majority black?
All black.
You grew up with a number of black people?
All brothers. I don't have but one, to this day, 2 white friends.
So your family, so your whole family's from Eastwood?
Right, from Poly. My family was from Poly, which is across the street from Eastwood.
Right. So all of this is nothing but blacks around you.
Correct.
Do you feel like that you picked up the blackness, or it was already in you?
Well, see, I feel like I never stopped being me. So see, when you put a person into, this is how it's explained. When you take a dog and put him in the cage, he acts like a wild animal. Right. You understand what I'm saying? You're gonna adapt to your surroundings. See, when I was in Eastwood and Poly, I was the only white boy there. Wait, let's rephrase that. 2 other white boys I give a shout out to. One is White Mike. He passed away. He was a Crip. The second one was Yellow Boy, and I remember, and he was a Latin King. It was a very hard struggle for us. We struggled because we was different, but we wasn't mentally different. We was just physically different.
Right. Did you get, was the treatment any different, you being one of the only white guys in your neighborhood?
Right, very much so. Because nobody, you know how it is to be around the white boy? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, if he's part of something, he ain't real with it. Right. And he never was accepted into it. Mm-hmm. He's just something that they could come up off of or use to benefit him, to benefit someone else. Truth be told.
you didn't experience that.
Never, never. Soon as I dropped out, I was off and running, and everybody with me. See, back then it wasn't Crips and Bloods. It was just everybody going to school, the hood, you know, the east side. And then that come later.
When did it change to where it was, because in Eastwood it's Crips and Bloods in Eastwood.
Right.
So when did it change?
In the beginning it was just Bloods, of my knowledge, was in Eastwood. Later on, Crips came to Eastwood.
What about so you had to be around before the gangs even came to Fort Worth?
Correct. I was around in the beginning. I was around when nobody, I was around when we was riding bicycles, you hear me? I've been around from the start. The day it started, I was right there.
Right. Did you got put down right when it began in Fort Worth?
Correct. Not exactly the day that it jumped off, but definitely early on.
So you, and correct me if I'm wrong, Red Dog, you had friends that became Crips and you had friends that were Bloods. Correct.
I went to school one day and everything had changed. And at that time I was still, you know, I was feeling that white folks, I was feeling that it wasn't normal. So it was hard for me to accept what was happening, because I already knew that everybody with me. Everywhere I went, everybody with me. I knew where my heart was, but it was hard to go ahead and submit to what was really happening, homie. And I don't know how really to explain that, because by me being white, that's not normal. It wasn't normal. And all, you know, but all my homeboys from the jump accepted it and wanted and loved me, you know, and respected me the same way I respected them. I was just white.
You didn't get treated any different than
a
black guy.
No, that's my whole life. All my partners have been black from day one. And so I came up with the respect. I came up with my heart. See, you have to have the heart. Do you understand what I'm saying? To be a part of anything that's solid. And I was there, you know what I'm saying? I was just there from the jump.
Do you remember what might have hit first, Red? Like far as the gangs, the Crips, the Bloods?
Oh, what might have hit Fort Worth first? Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, I really don't like to speak on what I really don't know, but as my memory tells me, the Crips. Right. The Crips. It's always been a lot of Crips against very few Bloods. Right. Always. Right. You know, my penitentiary travel the same way. Always.
It's you know, the saying is that Fort Worth was a Crip city. A lot of Crips on east side of town. And
right.
The Bloods that were in Fort Worth, they back then had to be violent. They had to hold their own.
Right.
Could you attest to this also?
Correct.
Okay. So being from Eastwood, Red, being white, being a Blood, a Piru, in your mind, you weren't different than anybody else. So when it was time to, you know, put in work, it was no different for you either.
Right on. Well, you know, my brother was killed Crips in Fort Worth. Okay. So at that time of my life is when I lost all my sanity. And it kind of, everything exploded from there. Donnie Mayo, he was...
Your brother?
Yeah.
The east side of Fort Worth, Red Dog, is predominantly black.
Correct.
Would you say the predominant gang on the east side would be the red side?
Back then?
Yeah.
There was more Crips than there was Bloods.
Even on the east side too?
Yeah. In the beginning of my knowledge, now we're talking about the beginning.
Right.
It's always been a bunch of Crips. See, Polly was Crips.
Right.
back then Eastwood, there was I only known Bloods to be in Eastwood till I got out of prison. Then there was Crips in Eastwood. Right. See, before I went to the penitentiary, I didn't know no Crip sets in Eastwood. You know what I'm saying? But of course they there. And so when they jumped off, I don't remember that. I don't remember that far back. I don't remember that happening. I remember nothing but Bloods in Eastwood, Poly, Crips, South Side, all Crips. And basically, I didn't really recognize no Bloods nowhere but in the East Side on Eastwood or and Stop 6. Right. You know what I'm saying? But majority Crips, man.
You mentioned prison, Red Dog. So being in Fort Worth, adapting to your environment, it led you to prison like you were black.
Right.
Different than anybody else.
Right.
When you get to prison, first off, what yard did you hit first?
First, when you get to when you go to TDC, you hit transfer facilities, which send you out to your units. So my first unit that I actually hit was Telford. Okay. I went to Gurney first, and that's when from Gurney they send you to different places. And my first unit was Telford.
Telford. How was it in prison being a white blood?
Very well outnumbered. Then when you're in prison, first off, you got the white boys don't want to accept you because they feel like you're a traitor, right? The brothers, a lot of them, if they don't know you, they still trying to check your heart, right? The ones the ones come from my city, they knew about me, whether they was Crip or Blood. But them boys that coming out of Abilene and wherever else, Odessa, or wherever they're coming from, right? They wasn't familiar with the white man being on that type of lifestyle.
The segregation in the prison, white, black, Hispanic.
Right, correct.
Where did you go?
Well, to be honest with you, everybody told me when I was on my way to prison, and this is everybody, this is my partners, man, you can't go down there and be no blood. You can't go down there and be no blood.
Before you went.
Right, my partners was telling me, hey man, Red, when it's different down there, but we was young, right? But my deal was, I wasn't about to go down there and be no racist because most of the white folks you hung out with, they was racist. And that's what the penitentiary is based on, racism. You got races, all right? The whites hang with the whites, blacks hang with the blacks, Mexicans hang with the Mexicans. So it's odd when you had someone like me, right? But see, I went against all odds because that's the way I was fighting in the world already. See, I made it in my mind that when I walked into the penitentiary, but behind them bars, that I was gonna be me. I wanted to be me, regardless if I died, regardless of what happened, I wanted me. I had to be who I know I am.
So you went with the blacks.
Right. As soon as I got down there, the gang task force, and when you get to prison, they got the GI. He's looking for me, right? He's looking through the cell. We're on Gurney unit. He keeps looking, but I ain't answered the name because he keeps calling me Red Dog. I ain't answering that, right? He says, I'm looking for somebody. He's going through. It's 4 or 5 black folks over here, about 4 or 5 Mexicans here, and 2 white boys in there. The last one he would expect to have been was me. It fucked him up. He was like, wait, it says here you're a blood. And I'm like, true. First thing he told me, you finna have a lot of problems, son. But then here, look, like I told him, I've been having them problems my whole life.
Let me ask you this, because this is education at the same time. Does the Crip and the Blood thing even go in prison? Isn't it a race thing in prison?
Only when need be. See, you have, in penitentiary, you're gonna have families. You got the Crips, you got the Blood, it's different families. And then you got the Aryan Brotherhoods, you got the Texas Syndicate, you got the Mexican Mafia, and here's the situation. Only time it becomes something like that is when races are going against races. You understand? Like, the majority of the time, the Crips and Bloods, They come together, no doubt about it, if need be, right? You're from Fort Worth, we're all from Fort Worth. But at the end of the day, everything is the Crips, the Bloods, the Mexicans, they're all family. They all got their own family. There's no doubt about it. But I lost my train of thought.
Don't worry about it. When you so when have you ever been in a prison riot?
Many, several.
Whose side were you on, Red?
I rolled with the Bloods the whole time. My partners was Bloods. So that's all I knew. So when I walked in there, I was a blood. I was a white blood. I was the only one I know in the TDC system that was actually a real white blood. I'm not saying there ain't no more. Right. I said the only one I knew. This is very rare to walk through there like that, alone. Because again, I was alone. I didn't have nobody. And I didn't have nobody but my homeboys from Fort Worth. And a lot of them was Crips too. Crips was telling me the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I've been on rec yards, bro, where it was just, this is how the situation was. When I was in the penitentiary system and I announced that I was a blood, of course the ones from the city knew me, but the ones that wasn't from the city, they didn't accept that shit. So I basically was going against everybody all alone. But see, when I get to a unit, it's all these brothers out here, and it's a lot of Crips. It's a lot of Crips. I look up, I'm out there getting it in. Facts. And can't nobody say it. I was getting it in every day, because I never let down that shit. I was a blood. I was a blood the whole time. I was a blood when I walked in. I was a blood when I walked out.
Let me ask you this, Red Dog. Did you have to defend yourself from being a blood and also being white?
Right.
Against?
That's exactly right. See, the Bloods wasn't trying to accept it, that they didn't know me. They're looking at me like, man, who is this white boy? And I had to prove that shit. I had to let them know, no, I ain't just no whole white boy. And that's another reason I'm sitting behind these cameras to speak up for what I've been through.
You been to Ferguson before?
Ferguson, look, yeah.
So Ferguson, it was said that the white boys was treated like kids or something like along those lines.
Here's the situation with that deal, man. The white boys become the weaker link because they wasn't raised with like that. They wasn't raised like that. They grew up riding skateboards. We grew up on the east side carrying pistols. It was a big difference. So of course, when the white boy comes to the penitentiary, he ain't built like that, bro. And not just that, he's nervous. He's nervous like anybody can tell. Their first time in prison, they're young, they was nervous. At the end of the day, so the white boy he was getting more taken advantage of than any race. And that's the true facts. They took advantage of him because he was nervous. And when he got there, his mama had money. So he could be on this protection program. Like, we're gonna protect you now. See, when we first went to prison, truth be told, I even took part in that. I can't even act like I didn't.
What you mean? Hold on, Red Dog. What do you mean you took part in that?
I took part in making them pay protection.
You did?
No, never. I took part in making people pay protection. And when I was there, I didn't have no money.
Okay.
I come from the hood. We were broke. My daddy, nobody had no money. We was broke.
Right.
So I wasn't getting commissary. So when somebody come through the door that I felt like was a weak link, I took advantage of that situation. And when I was in prison, we had it said fight or bust a 50. You understand what I'm saying? See, I ain't never been on no homosexual ass. So that wasn't playing.
Right.
So we're gonna get on with the bust that 50. Right. Because they wasn't gonna fight. A lot of them talk that fight shit. But when it's time to get out there, yeah, they're gonna fight out here where they got the homeboys to click. They're gonna fight out here when they got the pistol to grab. But when you're in that steel cage, you ain't doing no fighting. They scared to death.
It's some stabbing going on.
Exactly. And they stick together. If you walk into a pod and it's majority Crips or even a unit, then they got more of a say-so on the yard. Don't get it twisted now. Bloods, we've always been outnumbered from day one. From day one, I ain't never been in a position where I had more blood, unless I was home in my hood, that it was more Bloods than Crips, ever. It's always been more Crips than Bloods.
In the Texas prison system?
In my life, in my whole life, in the Texas prison system.
How long were you incarcerated?
One thing I can say though, because I've been to prison too, like 20 years after my daddy went, I went through there, and there's people that's still down there. Like when I went to prison, I didn't have no fight, not one time when I went to TDC. First thing they told me, hey, where you from? Whoop, whoop. I'm from Fort Worth, right? My pops, Red Dog. White boy, Red Dog blood? Yeah. Oh, nephew, you good. Off the rip.
When you got to prison.
Yeah. I called my pops, how many times I call you? Hey, Pops, so-and-so said he still down here. He say, whoop,
Yeah.
whoop. Like,
That's because I've been solid from day
off the
one.
real. Hey, you Red Dog son? You good. I'm eating with them. We all eating together good. I ain't had no
Because of your
problem
daddy.
with TDC at all. Like TYC a different story because that's like, you know, that we our kids, nobody knowing stuff like that. But the older dudes, because there's some people that's still down there from when my pops was down there.
Right.
And or it's people that came home and know my pops and stuff, and they back down there. So when they, hey, you Red Dog son, I'm Red Dog son. Oh man, you good off the rip. It's all love. Hey, yo, Pops, one of the realest dudes I ever met. I get on the phone, hey, Pops, so-and-so. Oh yeah, tell my dog.
Yeah, to this day, they still talk about me in TDC because, like I said, I walked through that alone. I walked through that alone.
I ain't never heard of no white bloods.
Right.
Not in the free world. I'm talking about in like prison.
Right.
I ain't never heard of that. And I didn't talk to many people.
Right.
In
That's
prison.
one thing they always say though. Every time they mention my pop, he was the only white blood.
Yeah.
Like, I hear that all day long.
Right.
Especially down there. He was the only white blood that stood on business.
Were there any more white bloods?
Oh, when I was on Beto,
On Beto.
I met a white boy named B Crazy. Big old white boy, yeah, he stood on business too. We didn't get to meet each other long. It was kind of a transit situation. I ran into him. Everybody was hollering that he could fight. Everybody was, because when I got there, everybody was like, man, you Red Dog, man. And right off the rip, after I made my first few years in prison, it spread. It spread like an STD. You understand what I'm telling you? Right. The whole system knew about me. When I get to another unit, man, that's Red Dog.
I already knew about
you. Yeah, because it was only one that was doing it like I was doing it. Because I was really standing on business. When I tell you I had 40 fights in 30 days, that's not an exaggeration. And see, when I speak, everything that's it's gonna come out. When you talk to someone, it's gonna come out. Somebody's gonna say something down there and tell you the truth if it ain't the truth.
Being white, being a blood, being from Fort Worth, when it's Crips and Bloods, but it's a city thing. You rhyme with Fort Worth with the Crips and the Bloods. Were there any other white guys like you that would ride with the blacks during the riots? You don't.
No, I was the only one. It's a funny thing, man, is they had a riot kick off, the white boys did. I was on close custody on Ferguson.
White boys had a riot kick off?
White boys, they had Aryan Brotherhood going against Aryan Circle. They went to war in prison, right? And they was white on white. We was on medium custody at this time. I was on Telford unit. I was on Ferguson unit. And I remember they come in there and they grabbed and there wasn't very many. There's not very many on closed medium custody, right? That was solid. But it was a couple of them. And they come in there and grab these white boys up, and I'm looking out my cell, I'm thinking, they're taking all the white boys out of here. They walk right by me. They walk right by me. When the next day, we all, actually not the next day because they was in riot stage, but a few weeks later when we come up, I'm the only white dude in there. And everybody's like, but they knew where I come from. Like I said, the gang intelligence, off the jump, he knew who I was. Like this wasn't no joke. See, a lot of people take this as a joke. Like there's no such thing as a white boy from Eastwood or a white boy that's a blood. Where you looking at him? Yeah. Truth. Been on gang file since I was 14 years old, right here. The police, when they ride by me, the gang task force. Yeah.
Your daddy.
They come on, they talk, they always just, man, look, this is white blood. It's just like it's so, people don't believe this. It's some people don't believe.
While you were in prison, Red Dog, I know it's some type of, like you go to where you gonna go, did the Aryan Brotherhood ever try to recruit you?
They did. See, here's the thing, man. When I got to prison, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I was nervous, man. I'm white, I know where my heart is, but everybody wanted me.
Right.
Everybody wanted a piece of me. Like the white boys knew I was solid from the jump. See, because when they did that, here's where my problem started. when I got to prison, I seen my white group over there. And you know, certain people in my life shot me like that. And partners, Crip T, right here in
Crip T.
right here in Fort Worth,
Hills.
Grape Street, right? He told me, man, down here you gotta with your own people, homie. It's gonna be hard. You know what I mean? But so I was going through a lot when I first got there, like trying to figure out what I have to do. And the white boys, they wanted me. They seen the heart in me, right? They seen the heart. You know, you got to go through all this extra shit. But all I was hearing was racist slurs, man, when I'm around them. Like, we hanging out and we're doing our white thing, I guess, right? I was unfamiliar with it, but I'm trying to be part of what I got to do. You know, real shit.
Right.
I'm looking over here and all I'm hearing is this and that. Well, it got to a point where I started knocking them out.
What you mean,
See,
knocking them out, Red Dog?
When we were in the circle and talking and, man, look at this over here, this whole ass blue, 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 you know, and then it would, I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand why you putting the pressure on me like that because that's not my lifestyle. It wasn't my fault that, I put it together like this. If you take a white man or a black man to Mexico, he's gonna come back speaking Spanish. Right. See, I got left in the battlefield. Right. So it was man up. It was man up or lose all your respect. Right. And I die for my respect, man.
So when you would hear the white guys spitting racial slurs toward the black people, you started knocking them out.
Well, don't just go crazy now. I just didn't go to swallow. No, it wasn't. I wasn't in that like that. I'm telling you, like if we was in a situation and he's talking something like, "What's you talking? Why you such against this man about his race?" Like we're woods. We're supposed to be woods. Like they got a situation in prison where you're not an Aryan Brotherhood, you're not an Aryan Circle, which is racist, but you're woods, which is a bunch of solid ass white boys that are staying down, right? And when they got disrespectful with that shit and would say, yeah, no doubt about it, knock the fuck out.
What did you do to you don't got to go into detail.
I realized at that time who I really was.
Right.
I realized I was a young man. You got to realize I'm coming from the streets. I'm coming from this lifestyle that's different. I'm going into a whole man society. I'm going where the men are now. These ain't boys down there. These are grown men. I was still a young man in my mind. These dudes down here was, man, these dudes down here rapists. These dudes, there's all types. In the 90s, the prison system ain't nothing like it was today. Right. It was for real. It was for real. But then I said, you know what? I'm who I am. I'm a real and I'm going to make that clear. So when I stepped back on the rec yard the next day, I acknowledged it. I let them know this is what I am, and this is how it's gonna be. And yeah, right then and right there, the Bloods was unacceptable. Oh no, wait a minute, who you talking about? But hold on, let's keep this real. When I got the Telford unit, it was two Bloods on the whole unit, right? From how I'm feeling, I meet them. Hey, what's up? Oh, what's up? Whoa. Listen, make a long story short. All these other dudes was Muslims. All these other dudes was Crips. Then all of a sudden, hold on, we get 4 or 5 more Bloods pull up that are solid and you know they're about to, you know, they're standing on business. And then I look over here. Now all of a sudden these other gentlemen that were Muslims, now the Bloods are popping out. True story. Now, oh, this whole time you've been a Blood.
So some of the Muslims were Bloods.
Yeah, oh yeah. But they was living this way because truth be told, we were outnumbered, but I'm in the battlefield every day. And there's people out there that's gonna tell you that I was in the battlefield every day. I never took that shit. I came in that and stood on business from the moment I walked in it. Once I got my mind right that I wasn't a Wood, I was a Blood. And my partners believed in me, I ain't letting them down. When they put all their trust in me, when they put me in the situation to be who I am, as far as this Eastwood Paru, I wasn't gonna let them down. Till death did us part. I married them. From that moment, it was just man up.
Right. What did you do to land you in prison, Red Dog?
Excuse me?
What did you do to land you in prison?
Robbery. I went to prison for robbery.
Robbery.
Right.
How long were you incarcerated your whole stretch?
The whole stretch, almost 10 years.
Okay. So when you came home back to Fort Worth,
right,
what was it like then?
When I got back out of Fort Worth, when I got back home, the city had changed completely. As far as, it's crazy because when you come home from prison, that wasn't there.
Right.
These were houses, now it's a store. Or it was just, and then the street life was completely different. Like the youngsters, they had no, to me, and this is just me speaking how I feel, they haven't had the right guidance. They haven't had an OG. These streets right now, you don't have somebody that you can go up to and get knowledge from. See, because the older person doing this has got the knowledge to give to the younger person. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Nowadays, they don't care about that. Nowadays, they don't care about you, who you are. I got youngsters that disrespect me to this day. Youngsters, they don't care about you. They don't care about how many situations you've been in. They don't care about how much done happened in your life. They don't have nobody to guide them. See, I guide mine. I can pull my dogs back. Right. You understand what I'm saying? I can let mine know, hey, you're going the wrong way about this. Right. Whether you're right, hey, listen, homie, sometimes you're wrong, but you feel you're right. Right. Somebody's got to explain that to you. See, I'm not finna let mine go shoot up no house full of nothing. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? We ain't with that. Right. You got somebody that's got some intelligence. I ain't even I'm gonna say wisdom. That's what makes you an OG. You understand? You don't just walk into this OG. These youngsters walk out, jump off the porch, man, I'm OG so-and-so. And you're like, where the fuck you come from?
Right. You mentioned you having 15 children and one on the way. Are any of your children white?
No. I have a poly relationship. I have 2 women at home.
Okay.
One's pregnant right now. One just dropped. They already both have a child. Again, I live my life a little different. One woman don't satisfy me.
You've been like that for a while, Red?
That's why none of my relationships worked out in the past, because I always look for another woman. You understand what I'm saying? I cheated in the open. I didn't call it cheating because I let them know what I wanted. I had to find a relationship where they would understand. See, because when she's tripping, I'm gonna go deal with her. You see what I'm saying? I don't need no more than 2, 3. That's it.
And y'all live together?
We all get together. Everybody lives together.
The children too?
The children and everybody.
So your 15 children outside of your adult children, everybody under one roof?
Right. Well, right now I got how many at the house? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9.
9 at the house?
9 at the house and 1 finna drop. Yeah.
All of them said 2. All of them said 2 and the oldest one.
See, I take care of my children. See, that's one thing about me. And that's why I don't want to be I don't want people to feel like I'm doing no tripping in no kind of way. I'm old now. I was tripping then. And the people knew when I was tripping because I was here. Right. We lived it. Right. You know what I mean? It was a battlefield out there in them streets. It was a real life battlefield out there in the streets.
So I think it's that's pretty it's pretty cool, Red, that you have 15 children and you all under one roof, except for pretty much the adult ones and the other 2.
Right.
Have any of your how many of your children have been to prison?
1.
Just 1.
Right.
Him right here.
Right.
That's pretty good too, man.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, man. Over time, you become somebody else.
Right.
Understand?
Yes, sir.
You if you don't become wiser with old age, then you're just an idiot. There's a lot of things that I wouldn't do now that I done then. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I want to teach them the best way. But all they knew was me coming home from prison tripping. See, when I got out of prison, I wasn't done. Like, I went straight back into it. I battled with I battled with a few people in the city.
When you got out of prison?
Yeah, we went to war. I shot the whole apartments up. Village Creek Apartments. Shot the whole up.
How can you shoot up Village Creek Apartments?
Went to prison for it. I ain't gonna put no names out there because Hey, just know this.
That's a blood neighborhood.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing again. I don't just when it's me out there, I don't give a if you disrespected me, then I'm gonna stand for what I believe in, no matter what you claim. Because I know some people are misled to the point. You understand? Another thing, I just got out of prison. I'm old, they're young. I was gone so long, they didn't even know me. You understand? Right. So when I hop out, everybody, even the people that tell them, now this so-and-so, he's so-and-so, he's certified. This so-and-so, them youngsters don't understand that. Them youngsters, they gonna do what them youngsters wanna do. You know, I know, he know, you can't even control them nowadays. You can't even slow them down. Look, they went, now, wait a minute, I'm not, and there you go. You going to war, no, it ain't worth it. It's because, again, they've been misled, man. Because we all went to prison. All the and all the OGs went to prison. We left all the youngsters out here they went crazy. Truth, man, truth. And now they don't understand that there's a way to do something without, you have steps like in the military. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? You got your sergeant, you got your major, you got lieutenants, you got captains, penitentiary. I mean, the streets are the same way. You got an OG. You got somebody that's gonna teach you the right way to do it, man. That's the facts. The youngsters don't even give a about talking to you no more. They're gonna do what they wanna do.
So having 15 children and you have teenagers, some children that are in their 20s, did any of your children join a gang?
Well, this is how this turned out. Whether they join or not, they're guilty by affiliation. Their daddy, see the gang task force, when they with me and these boys was coming up, they was getting it in out there, right? They're young, just like any other youngsters. They're all doing the same type of thing, but they automatically affiliated them with their daddy. Oh, that's Red Dog's son. He's this. That's Red Dog's son. He's this. So it kind of pushed them toward that already because no matter what I told them, they were still being treated that way.
Like that one day when you came to tell you what he tell you that day?
What?
After I caught my office, I went to TYC for it, and the cop told you what he tell you?
What?
The apple don't fall from the tree.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the apple don't fall from the tree.
Even in my trial, I went to trial, juvenile trial, and that's how they went.
See, we've confused the whole city. It ain't just, we talking about the whole city. The police, everybody was confused. Right. See, that when they come by, they're like, wow. But then after so long and seeing the places that I've been and the that I've been in, they already know my son got shot on 4th of July? The laws wouldn't let nobody in there until he seen me. He escorted me. He made sure I got to my son. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's a respect. Now them laws know I'm not out here to start no trouble. If I can stop it, I'm gonna do my best to stop that shit, man. I'm 50. I realized that the things I did, not too many people's gonna be able to walk where I walk. Not too many people's gonna be able to do what I've done. A lot of people love and respect me, and I love and respect them in return.
Let me ask you this, Red Dog. Were any of your children Crips?
No. Again, I got some Crip homeboy, K-Love.
Shout out K-Love.
I love you, homie. I mean, I can name several. Lewis. There's several I can name that I still, to this day, and they, you know what? And again, in prison, they was there with me. See, there's been situations when the whole unit was trying to go against me, but a Crip stood up. A Crip. Hold on. What y'all doing? Y'all know who this is? Well, we ain't gonna have it like that. It's been a battle. A long battle. 50 years of battling. Came off the porch, 15 years old, battling.
And now you at home. You got your wives at the house.
Wives.
Are you gonna add any more women to your?
I got a little bit more room in the stable.
You got a little more room.
Right.
You have some more children too, Red Dog?
The children are why I'm who I am now.
What do you mean? Explain.
I'm humble.
Like my pops, he sacrificed a lot of stuff and put a lot of stuff out the way to take care of us.
See, one thing about it, man, is this is what my happiness is. I realize where I fucked up in life, and that's my chance to try to make it better. I planted a seed and it grew weed. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think
And we ain't, you know, I don't wanna, what I've taught them, especially my two oldest ones, because they was around everything. They was around their daddy when he got out the penitentiary. They was around all the shootouts. They were around the houses getting shot up, everything that was happening. They were there. They were around my whole lifestyle of just not, at that point, not being humble,
right.
not being wise, making the wrong decisions. And they took part in that. They witnessed it. So what happened was they came up the same way.
Right.
Now I got my younger ones, and I refuse for this to happen like that. See, I understand as a father the mistakes that I made, right? And now I don't want my children to have to go through anything that I went through. When a man comes home from prison, he don't want his son to go through there.
Right.
He don't want his son to go through there. See, but when I was in prison, I didn't have no kids. I didn't give a damn. I didn't give a damn. I figured I wasn't gonna make it anyway. You know what I mean? When I was in prison and I'm listening to them grind them metal objects on the floor, shit, I grind mine. I was grinding mine, so I couldn't even hear them grinding theirs no more. Yeah, that's how it turned into. It was me against the world, honestly. At that point in my life, I didn't give two f***s, and that's why I stood firm like I did. I walked out to that rec yard every day, and I stood firm. And I took my socks with my little red band in them, and I made my red necklace. I made my red bracelet. Yeah, I was letting you know that I was definitely a in blood, and I was definitely gonna hold it down.
Let me ask you this, Red Dog. Do you remember when the California guys came to Fort Worth with certain gangs?
Right. Yes, I do. I do. Around and again, I'm thinking this is like 90, and I'm not gonna say no names, man. I'm not gonna put no names out there, but we had a few come down in around 91, 92 that I can recall. And that's kind of, again, where everything jumped off. Right after the Colors.
Right after the Colors movie.
Right. That's how I remember. Now you gotta remember, I was young, man, and going through a lot. Like we wasn't going to school and playing sports. We was going to school and everybody had a pistol on them.
Right.
Like I'm sitting here with mine on me. It wasn't no metal detectors at the doors. It was wide open.
Okay, Mr. Red Dog, man, this is an interesting story. This to me, I ain't never heard nothing like this before. This deserve a movie. You writing a book?
Now, you know, over my life, it's been a lot of people that's come to me about making interviews. It's even been people that one person that was going to write a book about my story. I've never, this whole, let me explain to you why I'm on this interview. My main reason of sitting here is because
I'm gonna cut you for 1 second because I don't even think you didn't want to do no interviews.
Right. The interviews wasn't what I want it to be known that when these people are saying that white boys is hoes and white boys is kids, I'm gonna tell you something. You wasn't on the right unit because you would have met me. I ain't never been no hoe and I ain't never been no kid. And that's a fact. And the comments will support them facts. I ain't never in my life. And the people that make these comments, they ran into me. And I'm gonna tell you some truth. They with me. They're like, man, you real as white boy. But then when it comes down to it, you ain't gonna stand up when somebody says, oh, it's all whole ass white boys. No, sir. No, sir, it's one. That's why I'm sitting here. That's why I'm making these videos. I want you to understand I'm here and I've been here from day one. I didn't hop off look, man, I didn't move down here from Corpus Christi or some crazy ass spot. I started this shit out when all my homeboys started this shit out. Whether I was a part of them at that moment, I was their homeboy. I fucked with them on a daily basis. We played jumping jacks together. You understand what that is? Ball marbles and like We was kids. I was here when the children was here. We all turned into what we turned into over time. Like I was saying, man, I battled by myself. I didn't have nobody behind me. It was me against everybody. When I went back to my cell, I had tears coming down my face because I had nobody to trust until some of my partners came from home, came from Fort Worth down to the prison system. I didn't have nobody to talk to, nobody to turn to. It was just me. And that's how it's been my whole life. You understand what I'm saying?
You are now tuned into the Bob Report.